We're always told that finding peace means we have to let things go. But what does that actually mean? Today, we're going to dive into what the original teachings say we really need to release to be free. And I can tell you, the answer is probably not what you think.
This is the big one, isn't it? That fear that to be truly peaceful, you have to renounce everything you love. Good food, music you connect with, the people in your life. It feels like you have to choose between happiness and peace.
But what if that whole idea is, well, just plain wrong? The original teachings give us a totally different way of looking at it. The problem isn't the pleasure itself. Nope. The real issue and where the real freedom lies is all about how your mind reacts to it.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. We need to untangle two things that we almost always mix up: the simple experience of pleasure and the mental habit of craving. They are not the same thing.
So check this out. On one side you have kama. That's just sensual pleasure. You taste some amazing food, you hear a beautiful song. That experience itself is totally neutral. It just is. But then, on the other side, you have tanha. That's the craving. That's the mind jumping in. That tightness you might feel in your chest that says, I want more of this, or please don't ever let this end. The pleasure is fine. The craving is where all our trouble begins.
And this just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The teaching is not telling us to run away from pleasure. It's a warning about a very specific mental state. It's the craving, that desperate wanting. That's the real architect of our unhappiness.
So if we've identified craving as the culprit, we can start to see the chain reaction it sets off. This brings us right to the heart of what the teachings call dukkha, which isn't just dramatic suffering, but also that low-grade feeling of stress, discontent, or that sense that something is just not quite right.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. The link between craving and that feeling of discontent is basically a law of physics for the mind. It's not a punishment from the universe. It's just simple cause and effect. If the mind is grasping, there's tension. There's discontent. If the mind lets go of the grasping, that tension is gone. It is that direct.
All right, so this all makes sense. But what are you supposed to do about it? I mean, craving is powerful. It feels automatic. It just shows up. So how in the world do we work with it?
Our first instinct is to declare war on it, right? We try to crush it, to argue with ourselves, to just force it to go away. But the path laid out here is, well, it's the exact opposite of that, and it's way more effective.
Instead of fighting, we just watch. Step 1, just recognize it with zero judgment. Oh, okay, craving is here. Step 2, get curious. Observe it. How does it actually feel in your body? Is it a vibration in your chest? A heat? What's its texture? And then, step 3, the magic step. Just allow it. Let it be there, knowing that everything that comes up must also eventually go down. You don't have to do anything to it. Just watch it fade all by itself.
And this is the whole game changer. The goal isn't to become some kind of robot who never wants anything. The goal is to see for yourself, in your own direct experience, that craving is just a temporary weather pattern passing through the mind. Once you really see that, it just doesn't have the same grip on you anymore.
But why is craving so strong to begin with? Why does it feel so urgent, so personal? Well, to get that, we have to dig a little deeper. We have to go down to the root that gives craving all its fuel. And that root is called atta, or self-view. It's that quiet, constant background assumption that there's a solid, permanent me sitting in the driver's seat. It's this me that wants the pleasure, this me that feels the pain of not having it. This sense of self is what gives craving its incredible power.
To make this really clear, the teachings use this beautiful analogy. Just imagine your mind, your pure awareness, the citta, is like a vast, formless ocean of water. Now this idea of me, this self-view, is like a glass bottle that suddenly forms around a little bit of that water. All of a sudden, that water has a shape, it has boundaries. It looks like a separate, solid thing, distinct from the rest of the ocean.
It's a perfect way to put it, right? The water only seems to have this separate identity because of the bottle containing it. And in the same way, our mind, our awareness, only seems like the solid me because it's being contained by this bottle of self-view.
So if this bottle of self is what gives craving all its power, how do we get out? Do we just try to smash the bottle?
And here we go again, seeing the same pattern. The answer isn't to attack the self or try to destroy it. The path is much more subtle and much more intelligent. We infuse it with something called vijja, which just means clear knowing or wisdom. And how do we do that?
By doing exactly what we talked about just a minute ago. Every single time you mindfully watch a craving arise and pass away, every time you see a thought just come and go, you're pouring a little bit of this wisdom, this vijja, into the water. You are seeing the truth of impermanence with your own eyes.
And what happens when you pour enough pure truth into a container that's built out of an illusion? Well, eventually, the illusion just can't take the pressure. The rigid structure gets brittle, and with enough of this clear seeing, it simply shatters.
And then the water is free. The mind, the chitta, isn't trapped in that little bottle anymore. It flows back into the ocean and realizes what it was all along, boundless, interconnected awareness, not a separate self. This profound realization is anitta, or not self, and that is true freedom.
So let's just boil this all down. The path is actually incredibly straightforward. First, you don't have to renounce pleasure, you just have to understand craving. Second, you don't fight the craving, you learn to observe it until it dissolves. And finally, you don't try to fix or destroy the self, you just patiently and wisely see through the illusion.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If craving is like a fire, and that sense of me and mine is the fuel we keep throwing on it, what would happen if we stopped? What happens when we just learn to sit back and patiently watch the fire burn itself out? What kind of peace might you find in that space?